On our Christmas cruise, Santa looked very different on the beach.
Excuse me, is your name Doris? This is Pop Star Beer Deliveries.
After landing from our pre-Christmas cruise on the Britannia and trying to get the house ready for our children and our grandchildren for Christmas, we ran out of time to make a proper Christmas message. So we decided to make a film about last year's cruising after it all quietened down.
But it didn't, did it?
No.
Christmas Day, kids in bed, and we were sitting here watching Gavin and Stacey, and this happened. To explain, we guest and talk on cruise ships, and I talk about my 50 years in the film and TV industry. And quite often now, I'm asked about my daughter, our daughter, Laura Aikman, and whether or not she's going to be on this year's Christmas Gavin and Stacey. And I categorically said no, she will not be in it, because I knew she was filming a series for the BBC with Sean Bean. I also had been told by her that she was not in Gavin and Stacey Christmas special.
Laura kept it from everyone, including us, because she was under contractual NDA. Now here's a puzzle that one of our cruisers may be able to answer. Laura's return to the show was so secret that she didn't meet up with anyone, including wardrobe and makeup. So she had to get her own wedding dress, and she got it from Vinted. So, somewhere out there is a lady whose dress became famous on Christmas Day, and she may not even know, but if she is a cruiser and she can let us know, we'd love to hear from her. Some secret facts from Doris Visits for our cruisers. The first time Laura wore a wedding dress on screen, it was in the children's film, The Usual Children, and that was my dress, the one I walked down the aisle to Stuart in. Laura walked down the aisle to Blackbird, played on guitar, and that is the song that Stuart walked her down the aisle to on her own wedding day.
The TV and film publicity machine is part of my talks, so I guess it will creep into one of my talks in 2025.
Let's take a look at the year gone by and the life of a cruiser. Stuart took the camera and the office wherever we went.
I'm not sure where your office is. This is mine.
Still working, even in paradise.
As you can see, I was determined to finish my thriller, 4 murders, a wedding and a cruise. And I did it on the beach and in the lounge, and we got it out for Christmas. Thanks to Jean and David for their sterling work as editors. And you did Titanic with Chesney Hawkes on the front of a water taxi coming back from Grenada Beach.
It was funny at the time. Kate Winslet, eat your heart out.
Jack, I'm flying! I feel like I'm flying!
I'm the king of the world!
So just to rewind what happened last year in 2024, it started because of a conflict that was happening in the Middle East, that all of the world cruise ships were rerouted the long way home. They had to go round the Cape of Good Hope and up the African coast. We started the year in Cape Town. I mean, come on, Africa.
We're at the Time Out Market in Cape Town. It's not quite as big as the one in Lisbon, but it is just as fuzzy, and it has great toilets if you're at the waterfront.
Africa was cold.
So after Cape Town, we went to Namibia, and all I can remember about Namibia is the flamingos.
And then we went to Dakar, up the African coast in March on the return of the world cruise, because they couldn't go through the Suez Canal.
We've just stopped in Dakar in Senegal. Isn't it funny how a port never looks how you expect it to? We're off to explore. We're about to go into the beach house for our dinner, which I'm very excited about tonight. But just before I do, I just remember that the last stop on that cruise was in Tenerife. The cruise was with Viking. And I've been there many times, but that was the first time I'd seen the famous people painted onto the rocks. It was fascinating, and there were hundreds of them. It's becoming Tenerife's new tourist attraction. Look at the Madonna one. They've got her. They've got Tom Jones as well. I didn't know that.
Thought he was a friend of yours.
Crispy fried mahi burger.
tamarind and ginger aioli, green mango chow, coriander, tamarind and Scotch bonnet. Ooh, sounds hot.
Well, our second cruise was on the Ventura, and we went around the Bay of Biscay, La Coruna. I've been there before. The one thing I wanted to do there was visit the brewery, because I'm a beer drinker. But we went there on a Monday, and the brewery was closed. So we walked around the square again.
If you turn left from the port, you'll find this little park. It's nice to stroll through. There's lots of statues and waterfalls. If you turn right, you'll walk all the way to the lighthouse. I always have nachos in the beach house. It's one of my favourites. So we were just talking about the Mediterranean cruise we did, and Vigo was the next stop. And I remember we walked a long way up the hill and we had an amazing view of the ship. And then we walked all the way back. We definitely got our steps in that day. And I think I had to throw away my flip-flops at the end of the day. Great view of the harbour. This would have been a fantastic fortress. You can see for miles. We're making our own walking tour via the map we were given. So this is the Merman. It's actually number 3 on the map. So Stuart has his amazing fish kebabs that he always has when we come to the beach house. And then my chicken fajitas arrived, sizzling hot.
Porto, I gotta tell you, was lovely. And not just because it was sampling Porto wine. Not my favourite, but Porto itself, such a brilliant port to visit.
Everywhere you go, there's port wine tasting. The way to get to the top is to walk up the hill and then go over the bridge at the lower level, and we'll show you what to do next. This is the top bridge, and I'm walking back across it and actually stopping to admire the view every few seconds. It's stunning. Africa, then the Bay of Biscay, gave us the chance to film a new ship and some new ports. We now have an Africa cruise port list on our YouTube channel.
All of the port guides are in cruise route lists. So there is a cruise route list called Bay of Biscay, and that's where you'll find Cherbourg.
In front of the theatre is where the horse and carriage leaves from. Twice we've looked at the queue for this horse and carriage ride. It's only €5. The umbrella factory is this close to the ship. Umbrellas are famous in Cherbourg because of the 1964 movie starring Catherine Deneuve.
You can either search a port by simply searching Doris Visits plus the name of a port or a ship. Or you can look up a whole cruise route where we have an example of the ship with the ports it visits. Or you can look at the cruise route port lists.
Caribbean,
Ship tours,
the fjords,
a playlist of the complete audio book of Cruise Ship Heist, free.
And in 2025, we will be adding ports in Mexico, Belize, Malaysia and Mauritius. Plus, we will be going on a Disney cruise ship.
The free walking tour leaves from the square twice a day and once in the evening. They stand with red and white umbrellas. The canal tour is great, about half an hour. The horse and carriage tour is also very good. But if you want to climb to the very top of the tower, after all those steps, you will find an incredible piece of machinery called a carillon. And as we visited Bruges a few times, we took the opportunity to go down and find the beach at Blankenberge. That's worth seeing.
A ship we really wanted to try was the new Cunard ship. So we took some short cruises back and forth to Bruges. And so we got the chance to go on the Queen Mary 2 again as well.
Love the Queen Mary 2. I mean, we love all cruise ships, but the Queen Mary 2 is very special. And I tend to get to work in one of the 2 theatres. This is one of them. Yes, it has 2 theatres. Also has lovely canapes in the bars before you eat in the evening. The diner is absolutely wonderful.
And then we got to go on the Queen Anne, which is totally different from the QM2, but just as lovely. It's Cunard stepping very nicely into the future. Fun fact, there are over 2,700 books in this library, so nearly enough for every person on board because the capacity is 3,000.
And another fun fact, when we posted this video, we got more mail asking where Jean got this dress from than any other thing about the video.
Moving on along deck 2, there's the chart room. It's quite quiet in here during the day, so it's a great place to come and sit and read. This is the Britannia restaurant where we have our dinner, and look how beautiful it is.
The full 18-minute tour is on the Doris Visits channel. Having not been to the Caribbean for many years, we decided to go back there at the end of 2024. We joined the Britannia on its Caribbean cruise route, and it was decked out for Christmas.
The first stop on our pre-Christmas cruise was Curacao. So we're going on an adventure. According to the lady at the tourist place, these beaches here are the best in the Caribbean. So we've got a bus towards West Punt and we're off to sea. Check it out. The local bus garage is by the Blue Towers, which you can easily see from the ship. We're going there now.
I think the Dutch Caribbean islands are my favourites of all. And the Britannia has at least 3 of them.
The next stop was also in the fabulous ABC Islands. It was the stunning Bonaire. Bonaire is another port where you can get a great photo of the ship.
We're sitting here. Look at this. Look at this. Fabulous.
We went to St Vincent and we were determined to go to Buckingham Bay to see if the beach was still public, even though Sandals have built a resort there, and it was.
Are you enjoying St Vincent?
I love it.
It is a total slice of paradise, like
Yes.
everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
And I hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
You can't use the sunbeds because they belong to Sandals, but the beach is for everyone.
We service the visitors from the cruise ship mainly, also locals as well. But if they want to rent a beach chair or umbrella, because there's not a lot of shade here.
Grenada. We have a few films to show on how to get to the beach, but here's a look at the town. And just up the road is the House of Chocolate, the Chocolate Museum. It's gorgeous in here, the smell is delicious and it's lovely and cool. This is the other side of the town where the local people live and work. It's very hustly, bustly, friendly. You don't get hassled here.
So we have our spice market, we have our nutmegs, we have our spices, we have our cloves, there's our chocolates.
St Lucia is a place you go back to quite a lot. This time we decided to try out a resort and use their beach. So Jean and I went there with Chesney and we had far too much fun.
We've come to Windjammers. It cost us $15 and he's just dropped us off and he's going to pick us up again.
But we have to be escorted down to the public beach.
Yeah.
We get the chance to go to quite a few resorts. And when you walk into a resort, you get a feeling, instantly get a feeling. And here at Windjammers, it's just a really friendly, nice, but easygoing resort. So, thumbs up.
We discovered a new beach in Antigua.
This is Fort James Beach. It's stunning. We've practically got this to ourselves. We walked here, another family came in a taxi, but apparently the taxis don't like to come down here because the roads are so badly made. But once you get here, it's brilliant. It's like a bit of paradise all to yourself.
So as you can see, the holiday site behind us is derelict, really. It's empty and there's nothing there. It's left to ruin. But if you remember, we showed you one of those about 5-6 years ago in St Vincent on the wonderful beach there, the best beach in St Vincent, and that's now a Sandals.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering who's going to be ending up buying this.
Absolutely, watch this space.
Yeah, and turn it into another wonderful resort. But the beach will remain public, I would imagine.
Yeah, you can hire a chair. There is a man in the bar who will rent the chairs to you for $10. The Britannia looks absolutely dwarfed by the wonder of the seas. There's lots of ships in, it's a very busy and exciting port. We love Sint Maarten.
Now I am standing in the very spot that Book 5 solo cruiser ends. I can't tell you how it ends, but it literally, in my mind, this is exactly where it ends. I remember coming here, I remember being here, and this is exactly where Book 5 ends, Sint Maarten. And we finished the year in a very Christmassy dressed Barbados.
Now you have a choice. If you want to go to Mullins and the bus garage, it's left, but we're going to the beach today, so we're going right. So there's the classic bridge house, no longer there, but it does look like they might be doing something with it. But what I have noticed is there's lots more catamarans. The beach that's close to the ship. And it's wonderful.
Well, if you watch this marathon, thank you very much. We had a great year in 2024. And all I can say about 2025 is...
We'd like to wish you a very happy, healthy new year. We're off to explore many more ports and film them, hoping to encourage you to explore them too.
I tell you what, no one ever goes on a talk show without a book to sell. Sorry. 4 murders, a wedding, and a cruise. That will definitely get you cruising. That's the book for 2025. I tell you what I'd like to do.
What's that?
I would love next year, while we're all with our cabaret act, like we were with Manuel Martinez this year,
Yes.
is to get them all to say Merry Christmas. So when we do our Christmas video, we've got them all saying Merry Christmas.
Okay.
I know I'll forget.
We'll start in February.
We'll try. Happy New Year.
Keep cruising and keep watching Doris Visits.